case at hand falls under the doctrine of unforeseen events. After winning a bid for the operation of radio-controlled taxis within the naval base in Subic, Guerrero entered into a letter contract with Victorina Magat for the purchase of transceivers to be delivered within 60 to 90 days, provided that Guerrero notifies Victorina of the assigned radio frequency. Days prior to this contract, the RCO issued that the acceptance and processing of permits to own and/or possess radio transceivers was suspended in pursuance of the martial law declaration and Marcos's letter of instruction. Guerrero had provided Magat with an assigned frequency number. However, he could not acquire a letter of credit from the MPTC nor from the central bank due to the suspension. Without a permit to import transceivers, Guerrero was forced to borrow radio units from the U.S. government for his operation. Magat then filed a complaint for damages arising from the breach of contract. Apparently, Guerrero was informed beforehand that the cancellation of the contract entails that Guerrero is to bear the loss arising from that cancellation, and that Magat would demand an additional 10% of the contract price. The RTC granted Guerrero's motion for dismissal, but the Supreme Court subsequently granted Magat's petition for review on certiorari. Victorino's heirs had to reinstate the case after his death. The RTC ruled in favor of Magat and ordered Guerrero to pay temperate, moral, and exemplary damages as well as attorney's fees, but the Court of Appeals reversed this decision. Hence, Magat's appeal to the Supreme Court. The court addressed the issue on whether or not there was a breach of contract subsequent to its decision that the contract was valid. Citing Article 1267 of the Civil Code, the court held that when the service required by the contract has become so manifestly beyond the contemplation of the parties, the obliger may also be released therefrom, in whole or in part. It was not refuted that Guerrero's denied request for a permit to import the transceivers from Japan was due to martial law restrictions, and that it directly prevented his acquisition of a letter of credit from the central bank. Thus, the court held that Guerrero was not at fault, since his inability to comply with his obligation was a direct consequence of the denial of the permit.
Created using Powtoon.